One of the things that I wanted to mention was, in some of the imagery that I have, I've seen strange animals that we are not used to seeing, certainly of the animal family, but we won't perhaps see a dog or a cat that looks like that we know of. Why are we seeing them? So I asked this question to Dacia Gaia, and I said, for animals that we see in the imagery, are some of those extinct? And he said yes. So I said, do you, in your dimension, keep and hold these animals and these types of animals, almost like a backup copy, a blueprint, if you like? Because in our 3D world, they have become extinct. Either they've served their purpose, or man has intervened to make them and hunted them to extinction. And I get an affirmation on that. And he says, very much so. So I bring that up because I was thinking, and I'm going to say particularly in the USA, but it can be all over the world, but particularly in the USA, people are citing credible sightings. I mean, I'm not talking about people who've been taking some sort of chemicals, but I mean credible sightings of creatures, animals that we have not seen, that we are told, oh, they don't exist. Oh yeah, Bigfoot is one of them, but I'm thinking of things like the Thunderbird. And there have been one or two faked images, but all those photographs from yesteryear of people with these Thunderbirds, they're not supposed to exist. Strange looking animals, strange to our eyes. People have seen these type cross between bear and dog, huge looking things. Doesn't really exist, according to all the scientists, because unless they've got a body, they've got no proof. Well, I don't want to get into that. I don't really agree with that line of thought, but so what I'm given to understand is sometimes there is a chink within the dimensional curtain, if you like, and these beings, from what I understand, these animals, creatures, slip through, and this is how they are seen. And I can't help but think, maybe I understand, should I say, and I can't quite pinpoint it, but they have some kind of duty to perform. Maybe that's something that we are not supposed to be in the loop from. But has anybody got proof that these holes within one dimension or another exist? Nope. But if Dacia Gea or a back say they do, I take their word for it. I certainly do. So, another thing I was thinking, as human beings, we are very human-centric. Everything revolves around us. And I think that we have this strong sense that the earth belongs to us, that we are, if you like, top of the tree. We are not top of the food chain, but we think we are in control of this planet. So I wonder if we are absolutely, totally not in control at all. And I use the word human-centric, as if everything revolves around humans, is for human beings, and we are it. We are the centre of everything. I wonder if there's a completely different perspective on that. I am being shown and being guided by Dacia Gea Fenian and a back to things that will broaden our perspectives, make us see things in a different light. And it will enable us to understand the dimensions, because a lot of people, dimensions don't mean anything to them, and they're like, we have no idea what you're talking about. So the best way I can explain this is to give you some examples of this human-centric world. So within this world that I call the human-centric world, I was asking Dacia Gea about what percentages of living things, these that have a heart, that have blood pumped around the body, what percentage of those things, that includes humans, occupy the planet? So we're not talking about plant life here, we are talking about things that live and that breathe. So what percentage of this planet are birds? And I'm talking about things with beaks, wings, that generally fly, that reside in the air. I'm not going to talk about insects. We're just going to stick with basics, absolute basics here. So what percentage of life on this planet are birds? 19% of known species. That was quite interesting. So I then say, what percentage are animals? Things that live on the ground in general. And I got 17%. 17% of known species, shall we say. So my next question was, what percentage is marine life? And that was a whopping 35%. And bear in mind, we have really not discovered half of what is in the sea and in the ocean. It is thought that there are, out of all of the species, whether they're human, animals, birds, all of the species that we can think of, and I'm lumping them into very big, bold groups, that 21% lay undiscovered. So I then say, what percentage of this Earth sphere are peoples? Bipedal peoples. And I get 8%. What I'm really trying to say is that I don't believe this planet belongs to us. I think there's far more that we have yet to discover. And we need to look at things from a completely different perspective. That we are not top of the tree. We're not king of the hill. So what I'm wondering is, in this forest, everywhere has lots and lots of leaves, and you can see them all on the ground. And there are many, many, many leaves. Too many to count. But in the area that I'm standing, and let's just use that as an example. What if that is our perspective where we are? That's the human race. Just where we are, just those leaves. If each leaf represented a person, say, that was the human race on the planet. But what about the rest of the forest? It's all covered in leaves. All of it. So it's all very well me looking at that area and saying, what if just this little bit, and we'll be generous, and we'll say, all those leaves as well, they represent people as well. How many leaves are there? I would never clue. Millions. And let's go and extend it as far as the eye can see, right through that forest. Right the way through. As far as you can see, even right down, right through that tunnel of trees up there. Every leaf that we can see within our sight represents a human being. What about every other forest in the world? Everywhere else? What about those? They represent the plant life, the bird life, the animal life, everything else. We are just so human-centric. So to discount, this is the whole point of what I'm saying, is to discount that there is other forms of life, whether it's extremely high vibrational, like our forest families. What I'm trying to show here is whether we believe it or whether we don't. We are just one grain of rice out of several sacks. So why would that mean that there isn't any other form of life? Whether it's within our dimension or another dimension. Is our dimension an exact replica of every other dimension and they just got little added extra bits on the higher up you go? Do we look after our dimension? Do we trash it? So they have to take hold of the animals and the plant life that we make extinct? Just trying to put us into perspective with the planet that we live in. And Bigfoot. Why should Bigfoot and any variations of it, whatever type, why should they not exist? Why should they not be able to step from their dimension through to ours? Because it's clearly something is going on. Clearly they do. So all I'm trying to do here in this video is show you that we have stepped outside that box massively. We always do. And we're just opening our mind up to every other possibility. Whatever we think is normal, whatever we think is the status quo, it's not. Anything that is not the status quo, that is outside the box, that's probably what's normal. So thank you for watching.